Welcome in to Charge. Or welcome back. Today, I'm so excited to announce that we are going to be learning more about the Charge founders. We got Matthew, we got Julie, and we got Rory. They're such cool people. We're going to be learning a little bit more about them and really just about Charge and how Charge came to be. What are their professional backgrounds? What are their running backgrounds? How did the idea for the app arise? Was Charge always the name of the app? What updates can you expect in the future? And so much more. But enough of this. You want to see the video. Let's dive right into it.
It's on.
Yay.
Guys, this is live.
Come on, we're doing this.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. If anyone has the drink on them. I know Julie has some coffee.
Oh, I got water right here.
Water bottle.
It's a little early for whiskey.
That's bad luck, I think. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. I'm really excited. Everyone's so excited about this video. I've been kind of telling people here and there in my runs. But anyways, why don't you guys all kind of state your name, your title with Charge, and where you're Skyping from today?
Sure, I'll go ahead, guys. I'm Rory. I'm the lead trainer and one of the 3 co-founders of Charge.
Rory, can you say where you are right now or no?
I'm doing a little bit of international travel. I'm as far south of the equator as you guys are north of the equator.
Sounds like a riddle.
Yes.
As far east.
I'm somewhere in
as
South
we are.
America.
Moving on.
Yeah, well, it's 102 degrees out right now, and inside of this car is the coldest place in this entire country.
And there is
That's
snow
absurd.
on the ground in Chicago right now.
Yeah. I went for a 3-mile run today and almost died.
I
Just
built a
because of the
snowman
heat.
with my daughter, and she loved it overall. Hi, I'm Matthew, and I'm one of the 3 co-founders in Charge. I see a pattern coming here. I'm in Chicago today, and I'm the CEO and lead dev programmer. I wrote the code that makes the apps.
Hi guys, I'm Julie. I'm also in Chicago today. I am also one of the 3 co-founders of Charge, and there is actually an ongoing joke between the 3 of us of what my title is. Some days, to Matt and Rory, I am the pizza orderer. Other
Very
days,
important job.
I am a CMO, a COO. So, as co-founders, we all wear multiple hats.
Multiple hats.
Random question then. So what is the best Chicago pizza?
Ooh, for me, my favorite is Gino's East.
Okay.
Matt, you disagree?
Gino's East
I
is
am particularly a Beggars fan.
Ooh, Beggars is one of my favorite go-tos. So if I have to choose from thin crust, it's going to be Beggars. And if I'm going to choose deep dish, which is the thing Chicago is known for, I'm going to pick Giordano's.
All right. Classic. I just had to throw that question out there. Okay, so let's hop in. Let's get to know you guys a little bit more, and then we'll dive into questions kind of more related to Charge, and then get a little bit random because it's what we do. What are your professional backgrounds? What were you guys doing before you started Charge?
Yeah. So I'll go first. So I've been programming specifically iPhone apps for over 10 years now. I was really fortunate enough. I was working in an Apple store, fell in love with the iPhone, as the iPhone was coming out, was going to school for computer engineering, decided to go to computer science, which is basically instead of making the hardware, making the software and the code, and got involved really early. I had it was a lot of luck, but choosing the right path to go iPhone when no one knew if it was going to be a thing or a horrible flop to now what it is. So I was able to work on a lot of different projects very quickly. I've built over 60 different iPhone apps for companies that are super small, way smaller than Charge, all the way to way, way, way bigger than Charge, and virtually everything in between. Also done a little bit of product stuff and trying to take all aspects of the making a good app and product.
Wow, I didn't know you did over 60. That's absurd.
Yeah, a couple of mine are actually behind me. I don't know if that'll show up on the camera, but there's a couple of my fun ones.
I've always wondered what those were up on the wall during all of our team meetings.
Notice how he doesn't have Charge running up there.
The problem is we change our Charge logo once a year. I have a full row of just different Charge icons.
Julie, how about yourself?
So I have a background and got my degree in kinesiology. I've always been into the movement science. I worked downtown at the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab for a couple years as a rehab tech. And then I got more into the fitness side of things. And so even today, I'm still a yoga instructor, a strength coach. I brought some programs to some gyms, including a tread and shed for a treadmill class and things like that. So fitness has kind of been a part of my life for a while now.
I love that.
Rory,
Take
you're
it
up.
away, Rory.
Does that leave me? Cool. So I joined the military about, I'm active duty in the military. I joined about 11 years ago back out of high school. With that, the past 10 years has definitely been a bigger focus on fitness, which kind of led me right into the position that I'm here at Charge.
I feel like all of your backgrounds really come together to make the perfect company. You kind of like cover all angles that are needed.
Thank you.
So how did you three all form a company? How did you guys meet together to, come up with the concept for Charge?
So it's a great story, actually. So Rory and I actually used to run together in high school before he went and left in the military, right? And it was one of our go-to things where we'd run together, and after he left, I stopped. I shouldn't say we stopped, because I'm sure he kept running, but not as much. So, I've wanted to stay more active and never really had a good way to do that. So we were like, hey, what would be a cool way for us to run together without actually running together? So we played around with this idea, and I built an app in just like a weekend, and it was a really, really like down and dirty app. It was a group phone call for audio, and then it was literally the entire app was one screen in black and white that just showed a leaderboard of your distance and gave like a couple stats to the trainer.
You made it in a weekend? That's insane.
It was a cool little thing to just test, and some stuff worked, some didn't. For example, we tried to expand the test. We had like 7 or 8 people try it out. People who had Verizon phones, it wouldn't work at all because Verizon won't support voice and data at the same time. So, but when we did that, we got a couple people who like weren't related to us, friend of a friend, and we got some anonymous feedback. Someone said, now that I know that I can run with this, I never want to run without it. So we said, hey, if we could do this in a weekend, maybe we're onto something. So we decided to all right, let's go in, let's make this into a business. I quit my job full-time contracting and was talking to Julie, who's my sister, about it, and she's getting more and more interested, and she's like, listen, I want to join this, I want to be a part of it. You've worked on a ton of apps. This is the first one that I could see being like a really big thing, and between my business experience and my background in kinesiology, I think I can bring a lot to the table. And she did, and she has. So that's basically how it all started going. We then just kind of started January 1st of 2017 saying, hey, this is like an official start date of starting to code. My goal is I needed to get it on the App Store within 3 months. I was 3 days short. We launched on April 3rd of 2017. And kind of the rest is history. A lot of different things along the way, but that's how we started.
I didn't even know
Man,
parts
I
of
feel
that
like you
story.
didn't give enough credit to the very first run that we hosted during the beta process. Just to put it in perspective, so we had this group phone call, and so I hosted the first couple classes as we were doing this whole beta thing. And mind you, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Like, it was there was no online Google resource to say like, hey, how do I virtually coach people through a running app? Like, it just didn't exist. So I'm trying to like go off these stopwatch of like chicken scratch runs and trying to explain everything while playing music through a Bluetooth speaker into the phone. So I got my Bluetooth speaker in my phone right here, and I'm like talking, moving the Bluetooth speaker away. I'm like trying to start a stopwatch. I'm like using my toes to like turn the pages so I can understand what's happening. It was a total, it was insane.
A long way.
We've definitely come a long way.
Yeah. If you haven't seen how the back end, the trainer app works now, we still do it exactly that same way.
We were just really good at multitasking.
Yeah.
So, Matthew,
Yes.
you and Julie are related, brother, sister, and you and Rory are good friends, and so you guys are all good friends.
Yeah.
We all went to high school together, so yeah.
Oh.
Matt, only a year apart, so.
Rory, are you and Matt the same age?
Yeah. Well, Matt just turned into the next chapter of his life.
I just
30.
turned 30
30.
last week, and Rory's got another 3 months, so he's letting me feel like the old guy for a few months.
Shake your head, you're already halfway there.
I know.
Hard to argue with that.
I love
This
it.
actually might be one of the first times that anyone in the Charge community has seen me with hair. Because my trainer photo is just me with a shaved head, so.
Yeah, you really do have some hair right now. It's like confusing me.
When I started this company, I had a full head of hair. It's just fun
It's
fun
what
fact.
happened.
Read into it what you
Fair
will.
enough life. So what are your running and fitness backgrounds? Obviously, Julie, you had a background in college and just what you do now, but what are you guys doing today?
Oh, actually, I was probably the one that is very different from everyone. I hated running. Hated it. In college, similar to Matt and Rory's story, I had a friend that kind of made me do it and helped me run. And that's when I started to get into it more because I had a running partner. And then she moved across the country. So when Matt and Rory were like starting this, I'm like, oh yes, I need something to stay motivated. I need to start doing this. And so yeah, I was not like many of you who started, like many of our coaches who started and just loved running and was racing and all this huge background. No, I started and I really hated it. And now I've grown to love it.
I love that. That just makes it more relatable because, you understand how the app actually helps other people.
Oh, definitely.
How about you guys?
So I've done a couple half marathons, a large number of 5Ks and 10Ks. But prior to that, with the experience that I've had in the military, getting good at running was kind of just something that had to get done. Every 6 months, we have to do our fitness assessment. Yeah. So making sure that you're in good running shape on top of the additional push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups and everything that you had to do. Just getting good at running, which seemed to be the biggest kind of hurdle that I had to overcome with that. But just going along with the company in itself, just running alone and trying to get myself into the running shape has always been a huge chore. So that's why I'm really excited that this does exist now. I can now go outside and hop into a class and actually enjoy running.
I love that. And that's actually really relatable because some of our runners are police officers, people who have to hit a certain time for a fitness assessment for their job. Mm-hmm. And so it really helps have runners hit their goals in that kind of way. And it actually has to do with their job. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you, Matthew?
Mine was kind of what I explained earlier. I ran a little bit with Rory. I did some 5Ks for some benefits and causes I believed in, but never got into it as a sport. And, getting into Charge has made me a lot more of a runner than I was before. I'll definitely say that. So, when you're writing the app and you need to test it, you're like, all right, I guess I'm going out and getting some miles in. So that's been really neat.
I love that. Mm-hmm. All right, let's hop into some just general Charge defining questions for maybe some people listening in that are not really sure what Charge is. So Matt, do you want to start us off? How would you explain what Charge is in one sentence or a few words, whatever you prefer?
So I have, depending on my audience, I'll answer that several different ways. If you've heard of Peloton and what they're doing in biking, I'll say, hey, it's Peloton for runners without spending $3,000-$4,000, right? If you haven't heard of it, I say, it's a live streaming fitness classes straight from your phone. My other, which would break the one sentence rule, but is one of my go-to, is I explain it to people who are like, great, it's another running app, and I go, well, no, because every running app before Charge on the App Store did pretty much the same thing. You pressed a button, it tracked how far you go, and it gave you stats that you could go to share to Facebook. We wanted to see the reason we really fell in love with this idea is we did something totally different. Instead, when you open up Charge, you say, hey, there's 20 live runs happening today. I'm going to go run over my lunch break at noon, and I'm going to be running with 10 other people from around the world. My phone's not just my stats anymore. It's a live leaderboard of everyone running at the same time. And my audio isn't music, the same playlist I had on my phone for the past 3 years. It's a live person talking in my ear, picking songs to go for the exact type of workout that I'm trying to do today.
Run-on sentences are perfect to explain the concept. You really hit on a lot of different things there. So thank you for that.
That breaks the one sentence rule by just a little bit.
So Julie, what do you love about the Charge team?
Oh my gosh. We have just such an amazing team with our trainers. I love that everybody brings something different to the table, but they all have really formed this Charge family, which has created a Charge family with our members. Everyone's so special. What most people don't know is that everybody hired to the Charge team has to talk to all three of us, which I found out apparently is pretty intimidating from people who are like, okay, so I'm talking to this person next, and they have to talk to all of us to get hired at Charge, and I don't think we come off as intimidating, but apparently I've been told that process can be, and we just actually genuinely, everyone part of the Charge team is someone you want to go get a beer with, which is pretty cool.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rory's intimidating because he always does his interviews on Skype calls, and he's never wearing a full shirt. If you ever see Rory on video, he always has his arms out, and if that's not intimidating, he's like, don't mind all my tattoos, and But yeah, what were you saying? No.
Agreed.
Man, my head's not that big.
So Rory, what are some of Charge's biggest accomplishments to date?
Man, there's been a ton. I would say, and I could probably speak for everyone at the Charge team, I say that the biggest accomplishments that we've gotten were some of the feedback points that we've gotten from people who have tried our app. So whether it is someone who is running for the first time in their entire life running for 10 minutes straight, or running their first 5K without stopping, or getting out there and running the furthest that they've ever had before, just because of the excitement and the support that they get within each Charge run, single time that we get one of those comments of how we've positively impacted someone else's life.
Oh, totally. I mean, even on the Facebook page, you see so many people's stories and how Charge helped them become a better runner, a better person, just more confident and happy in life, and it's pretty crazy.
You know, what we've accomplished in just quite a short time has been quite amazing. You know, seeing that feedback from people, to me, is just like unbelievable. And if you look at every different aspect, like just since we've been around, we've launched 3 major versions of the app on 2 different platforms, right? We've redone our website several times from just a tech side alone. From a user perspective, the growth that we've experienced has been incredible. I've never really been on something that's grown this fast in this way, so that's been really cool. But I definitely agree with Rory. It comes down to the people, and it's the stories that we just see. We have this channel, motivation channel on Slack, and I have to say that's by far my favorite one, to just see some of these posts that a user is just like, you've changed my life. And that's the reason we get up every morning.
Chills all the feels right now, guys.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go into the history of the app a little bit. So, Rory, question for you. How has Charge evolved? Was the app originally envisioned to be something else than what it is today?
Yes. We originally just envisioned it to be significantly less social than it is right now. We didn't exactly necessarily know or understand the social impact that it would eventually turn into. But to put into perspective, when we first launched the app, we were fortunate to get featured. And so we had a bunch of people coming into the app. So we had all these people into these runs, and we had absolutely no chat. The chat option did not exist at all. We never knew that it was going to be something that was wanted. Flash forward to today, it's something that people look forward to almost as much as the run itself. We didn't have any kind of treadmill support. So when someone was on a treadmill, it would just say users on a treadmill, and we would have to go and update their distance later, or just not update their distance at all. And then the last thing was having on-demand runs. So we originally just launched with only live runs. The on-demand runs came after. And what's really cool about the on-demand runs is, with the live runs, having that live leaderboard and seeing how it's constantly changing, you can look down at your phone and see that, hey, I got Mike 0.02 miles ahead of me. I want to try to catch up to him. We've taken that same technology and have built it into the on-demand portion. So to put it this way, if you have a friend who runs the live version of a Charge run and it's then converted onto on-demand, if you join that run, you can see exactly where they were at every single point of the run while you're doing that on-demand run. So it's a really great way of being competitive with someone when you're not necessarily running at the exact same time with them.
A fun little tidbit building off that is, if you were, Rory and I both played a little video games in high school. If you ever played Mario Kart and you were doing the time trial mode where you raced against yourself, that's where we built it, like the Mario Kart Ghost. So not only could you race against others, you can also race against yourself and see, if I do this 1 mile run today and I do it versus a week from now, you can race against yourself and do your own personal best. And a kind of a cool feature that, you know, was interesting. That was based off a video game.
So Matt, question for you then. How was Charge running, or Charge, chosen as the name of the company? Were there any other names under consideration?
Yeah, so we played around with actually several ideas, and I'm someone who, especially when it comes to branding, marketing, when we're talking about like the app icon and the name especially, I don't like just assuming that I know best or the 3 of us knew best. I wanted to kind of put it out to a broader audience. So what we did is we had a designer make 2 or 3 versions. We narrowed it down to kind of our favorites, and then we had as many of us as possible posted on our social media accounts saying, hey, we're making this new group running app. Which one looks better? And the final 2, one was called Charge, and the original icon was like a lightning bolt in a yellow color scheme. And then the other one was called Armada, and meaning to have like a group, but we also felt like it could have meant swimming, and there's a lot of water, so we ended up going with Charge, thinking like not a phone charge, but more like a bowl charging. We thought originally the 1.0 was going to be way more competition focused than the friend and funness that it became. So that's kind of where it came from.
Interesting. Definitely think Charge members are going to be interested to see kind of like what those looked like and just kind of know the different names, because I cannot imagine calling it Armada day to day. It's so Charged. Like, it's just so Charged.
Right. Our 1.0 logo was meant to look like the underside of a shoe. And if you look at it here, and we ended up changing it because we had multiple people tell us that it looked more like a feminine hygiene product. Yes. So we went with something more on the nose with our 2.0 logo, which you can see here. And that was great, but they also looked kind of like coordinated dancers in some way that drove one of our co-founders a little bit crazy. I won't point to one of those ones, assuming. I don't know where I'm going to pull, but it was Rory. Yeah. I'll point all the ways.
I was feeling like it was Rory.
So our 3.0, we kind of took what we really liked about 2.0, cleaned it, refined it, brought from the red and orange, which was overly kind of aggressive, to more of that yellow orange to bring in the friendly vibes that kind of the app has evolved into. So that's how and why the name and the logo became the way they did.
I love it. Makes sense. Let's keep it going. So Charge community, Charge future. Let's hop into questions kind of like that. Julie, question for you. Did you ever think that Charge would be so much more than just a running app? Kind of like how Rory was talking about the community and how it's built into something just so much more. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Rory hit pretty well on it, but we knew we wanted to have a community and we wanted that feel. But I know I speak for all of us when I say we never thought it would become what it has, and what it has become, you know, it gives us all the feels we talked about earlier. But, you know, now you look and people are creating friendships from other countries, you know, people are becoming friends. We hosted a run for a couple getting married on Charge, you know, the morning of their wedding day, and someone has a tattoo of our logo. Like, so many amazing things have happened that it's just like, wow, we've genuinely created something that brings people together to do something they love. And it's become more than we ever dreamed.
So Rory, question for you then. What app updates can members expect in the future?
Oof. Well, we like to keep this a little bit close to heart, close to the internals of the Charge team, but we do know that runners really, really love their stats. So we want to find a way to help provide a lot more stats, whether it be post-run, whether it be over a period of time. We want to help provide that stuff to you guys, in addition to providing the same live runs and on-demand runs that we've been doing. Another thing is, and Matt can agree with me, we absolutely love games. So we want to try to find a way to help make things a little bit more game-like, with goals and things to strive towards. I'm trying not to give too much of it away, but
it's hinting. Yeah, we're all like, don't.
Did I go too far?
And I'm like, keep it going. So I kind of have an idea of where we're going to be going in the future. I mean, you guys make it really transparent for all of us trainers, so we're definitely in the know at all times. Yeah. And it's really exciting because us as trainers can come to you guys and say, hey, we have these ideas, and if it's something that, you know, we can do, you guys definitely take it into consideration, and we look if we can add it to the next build if it makes sense. So I don't know, it's pretty cool to see all the updates get made.
It's one thing that's worth noting. We email every single user who downloads our app. We ask them for feedback. We ask, hey, what can we improve on? What would you like to see? And we use so much. All of that feedback literally is one of the biggest drivers in what we choose to prioritize. Between that and looking at our stats and metrics, what's making us successful, what's getting people to run out there more often, right? What are the people who who are using it 4 days a week versus the person who uses it once a week? What is there something we can do to help move people along that, to increase engagement metrics as well as every metric that makes us successful as a company? Between the data and the user feedback is how we drive virtually all of our product decisions.
Thanks for that answer, by the way. That was really good to know and really informative. Julie, going back to you, what are some of Charge's biggest threats as a company?
We obviously are working to grow at a faster rate. In our team meetings, we're working on making those numbers rise and creating and growing our community. So that would probably be the biggest threat, is lack of growth.
Building on that, make no mistakes about it, we're a startup. We need to continue to grow in order to be successful. If we plateau and flatline, we're not there. We need to build a curve to keep growing, and we need to keep getting that word out there. If you're someone who's a charge, fanatic, and you're like, what's one thing I can do? It's just keep talking about it. We want to do whatever we can to empower you guys to talk about it more, but when it comes down to it, the number one thing that will determine if we're here 5-10 years from now is how much we grow over the next few years.
Little plug to add on there. As Matt said, the best thing you can do is share Charge. If you go into your profile screen, hit settings, you can actually click the button that says share Charge with friends.
Oh, I love that. And get a little link if you can just send it everywhere.
Yeah.
As trainers too, and Julie, Rory, I'm sure you guys see this in your runs, it's pretty crazy. Like when I was brought on over a year and a half ago, in my runs, it would be like, I'd have one-on-ones, maybe a few people in the run. Maybe it's a no-show and I didn't have a run that day. But now you have over 20 people a lot of the time in your classes. And every day you're having a new member that you're introducing to Charge. And so many people are in the chat like, welcome to Charge. You're going to love it. It's so awesome. It's pretty crazy seeing how fast the community is growing.
I remember some of the earlier runs where it was like, we'd go a couple runs without having a single person show up, and then we would have a new runner pop into we didn't have a chat at the time, so we were kind of just guessing that they were with us, or we're hoping that their distance would go up. But yeah, we would have that person hop into our class, and we'd text each other and be like, yeah, we had a new runner in one of my classes. And but yeah, flash forward to now where we have, and it's still, it's just as exciting now as it was when we first started seeing the 20, and I think yesterday we had just a run with 35 people in it. It was huge. Just a random run throughout the day that people wanted to join into, which was super exciting.
And our, what race was that? Oh, the Donna Half Marathon. We had over 100 people in that run, right? Or join in and out?
We did. Mm-hmm.
Pretty big. So, I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do some rapid fire questions. I'll start with Julie, and then I'm going to go to Rory, and then I'm going to go to Matthew. I'm going to say a word. You're going to say the first word that pops into your head when you're kind of thinking about Charge in the back there too. We'll see what happens. And disclaimer, they have no idea of what I'm about to say right now. They have not seen these words, obviously. All right. We'll start a little easy. Julie, running.
Charge.
All right. Rory.
Okay.
Marathon.
Sure. Training.
Fair. Matthew. Competition.
Leaderboard.
All right. Taking it from that perspective, I see you. Okay. Julie. Startup life.
Roller coaster.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Rory.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Non-pineapple.
Non-pineapple.
I was going to say
standard,
pepperoni,
but
like those two words pop in at the same time. So, yeah.
hyphenated. All right. Matthew. Beer.
Ooh. New England IPA. Is that one word? Close enough?
We'll hyphenate it as well.
Hyphenate, yeah.
Yep.
I wish it was later and we could all be drinking a beer right now.
Right.
All right. A few more. Julie. Toilet paper.
Toilet paper half marathon coming up. Duh.
March 29th. Okay.
I was going to say chaos.
And if you guys know where to find some in California, let me know because I have not bought some. Okay. Rory. Speed work.
Intervals.
Last question. Or last word. I don't know. Android.
3.0 coming soon.
Okay.
We should have done embarrassing facts about each other.
Oh, yeah. fun facts about each other. Can mine be that Rory likes doing pull-ups in the bathroom?
Yeah, I'll go. So during every single, not only founders call, but every single team meeting, if you listen very closely, you can hear Matt playing the Rubik's Cube.
Totally true.
Oh, man. Post in the comments what time Matt was playing with the Rubik's Cube.
There you go.
It's like when his eyes just kind of go down a little bit. All right, Julie, Matt.
There's a will, there's a way.
Love to water ski, and we've been doing it since we were probably 10. Really funny fact that Rory usually never lets me live down, and I'm going to point out that this was probably about 12 years ago in high school. I had a crush on Rory, and I told him this like years later, and he never let me live it down. Okay.
Now we're married to different people.
And we both love each other's spouses. He plays video games with my husband, and his wife is on our app all the time. Lovely, and they have a beautiful son. And I have a beautiful son. And Matt has 2 beautiful daughters.
Julie was a bartender at Howl at the Moon in Chicago for like 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fun fact, Matt and Rory actually had their first job together at Texas Roadhouse as busboys.
Ah,
Shut
I actually
up.
got at it first job.
yeah. Rory hooked me up as a bus
Who was
boy.
the better busboy?
Oh, definitely me.
Oh, me.
No. Rory started there, so he was already like, yeah, I'm past all this. Really, I'm just here for the chicks, bro. And then he met his wife and married her from Texas Roadhouse.
I did. I met my wife at Texas Roadhouse. Yep.
They're like high school sweethearts, separate high schools though.
Was she eating there or did she work there?
She worked there, and then we eventually ate there on our first date.
Rory's like, hey, you wanna use our 30% discount together? That was his pickup line.
I did take her out to go see a movie. It wasn't just Texas Roadhouse.
You took her to your place of work, and she's still married. Yeah, hey.
It works.
Julie and I
Brother,
ran the
brother,
color run
brother.
together, and that's the t-shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah, we did run that together.
All right, and just a couple last questions before we say our goodbyes. Really quickly from all of you guys, maybe in a sentence or two. Explain what your favorite thing is about Charge. Maybe starting with Julie.
The community that we've created, hands down, for me. I mean, all of our runners, like, I feel like I'm friends with them. Like, I coach them. I'm like, oh, hi, how's your kids? It's the community for sure is my favorite part.
100% agree. It's amazing. Like I said, there's so many stories we could tell of the community. But I mean, we decided to have an in-person Charge meetup at this Donna Half Marathon. We had people travel from different countries that were training together virtually through the app, and they crossed the finish line. They ran the whole half marathon together, crossed the finish line holding hands. I mean, it was like high-fiving, an amazing thing. We've had I could tell hundreds of stories, even when we were small, like way before we are now. Thinking back, one of my favorites is we had someone in high school that we were only hosting 3 runs a day, not 20. And this person would join 2 out of the 3 runs every single day. And on that 3rd run, he would find a way to be in the chat room to cheer on everybody else and say, oh my God, isn't this the best? I mean, every single day. We couldn't have paid someone to do this job as well as he was. Just those natural promoters that come and speak so good about our baby is awesome.
Oh.
Yeah. I agree with both Matt and Julie, but to give another point is, with the 3 of us never having done any of this before, seeing the development from kind of a conception idea to a minimally viable product to where it's at today with the team, with the internal Charge team. So just a big shout out to all the coaches, all the people on social media working for the Charge team, and also to Matt and Julie. Like, I couldn't be more excited to work with an awesome, excellent group of people that I look forward to working with every single day.
Aww.
Again.
It's getting weird in here. Okay.
You gotta shut this down soon.
I gotta shut this down. I mean, I didn't even know some of the stuff that you guys said in this interview. I didn't realize that, Rory, you and Matthew used to run together.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know how I didn't know that. I feel crazy. But I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to be interested to hear this story, and there's going to be a lot of follow-up questions. So,
Michelle, I got a question for you.
I'm scared. Okay. I've never been asked the question, so I don't. Okay.
We're gonna flip this around for a minute. So with Matt having said, and I don't even know if this can make it to the video, but with Matt having said that some of the coaches felt intimidated talking to the three of us throughout the hiring process, what were your thoughts going through the hiring process?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because I remember at the time, I would take the interviews at my lunch break at work. So I would like drive to, I don't know, like a flame broiler, like a Jamba Juice, and sit in the parking lot and like talk to you guys. I tried to do as much research as I could, because I remember when I got the email, I think it was from Julie. It's kind of like, ooh, this is like right up my alley. Like I was coaching a few runners on the side, like had a full-time job, and you know, it's always been my dream to work for a running company. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I did a little research. I'm like, okay, these guys seem pretty cool. It was super intimidating at first, knowing that I had to talk to all three of you. But once I talked to all three of you, just the way that you guys spoke and how excited you guys were about the company, you just had a very relatable vibe. And still, like when I have a one-on-one with each of you, it's something that I kind of look forward to. And I know that if I have any questions or any concerns, and if I have an idea, you guys will all listen with 100% of your focus and really help me out. And I know you do that with all the trainers. So I don't know. I look at you guys as the co-founders of Charge. I look at you guys as my friends and coworkers, and just, it's great. Cool. I think we have a lot of really good info here. I'm excited about it. Thanks guys so much. I really appreciate it for taking the time out of your day all around the world and the other side of the United States. I'll talk to you guys later.
3, 2, 1.
Charge on. Rory, you're literally a full like second and a half behind all of us.
Am I really?
Yeah.
Like, charge on. I'm like, charge on.
That's exactly how it's working. All right, let's try it again. 3, 2, 1. Charge on. Love it. Thank you.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Hope you guys enjoyed meeting the founders today. Leave a comment below with the questions that you have for Matthew, Julie, and Rory. Give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, hitting the red button below. If you've already subscribed, get somebody else to subscribe. It really helps us out. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, charge on.
It works. Oh yeah.
There we go. Can you just Photoshop take that one picture of Rory, and every time that his video cuts out, just put that one picture there.
Yes.